The Square Ball Podcast.
Welcome to the Monday show. No West Stand today. We're jigging things around again this week due to the Monday night game, but that is why we are here. Welcome to the show. Dan here with Michael and Rob. We are on a show that's brought to you by NordVPN.
I'm amazed you didn't go with getting jiggy with it.
Really?
Reference then, given your love of dated musical references.
Yeah.
NordVPN. Yeah.
28 years old, that song.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. Soon be dead. Yeah. NordVPN.
Will keep you feeling alive and well.
They'll keep your data safe when you're on public Wi-Fi. That's what they will do.
Yep.
Ain't that right?
Yeah, they do loads of stuff.
What else?
Up to 10 devices. They'll keep your data safe. If you want to watch something from another country that you're not allowed to, do that. Get a VPN. It's good, isn't it?
Geo-blocking. Not for me, thank you.
No. Geo-blocking. That sounds like something really interesting and fun. What is it?
It's a dance.
Right.
Big craze. No, it's when you're not allowed to view things because of the area you're in.
So you can move to another virtual area using NordVPN and see stuff like, so, you know, your streaming platforms, whatever, can't you?
Exactly.
Good. And should you wish to, let's say, buy your football club's in-house TV service, but you're not allowed to because you're in the UK or whatever, pop yourself off over somewhere else.
It's a Goodman/Hinchcliffe avoidance service as well, even if you're already in the UK and have Sky. It's a way of getting around it.
Desperate measures and all that. NordVPN.com/TSB to avail yourself of the exclusive offer on there. You get bonus months on top of your 2-year plan. The link is also available in the description for this episode. And also 30-day money-back guarantee. What?
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's great. Right. Rob, Michael, let's talk football. Quick reflection on what happened over the weekend. Friday night, Burnley beat Sheffield Wednesday 4-0 after I had proudly declared just last week that Burnley won't be going and beating teams 4 and 5-0.
Is that right?
That's correct.
That's the insight we come here for.
Yeah. The searing analysis that you get from the Square Ball.
They didn't deserve to.
No. Wednesday should have been in front.
I didn't watch it, obviously.
God,
Did you actually watch? Were you actually watching this?
Yes.
You're obsessed though, aren't you? You need to calm yourself.
I need purpose, Rob. That's what I need.
Don't we all?
I watched it till about 2-0 then switched it off. But it was very much the it's on in the background kind of vibe. I was doing other stuff, but keeping an eye on it. Yeah. And, you sort of follow a game via the energy of the commentator and you sort of give it attention when something's happening. Wednesday should have been a couple of goals up in that game, potentially, but they weren't. And Burnley just did what Burnley did, was waited it out and scored. And then Wednesday effectively collapsed, but they were pressing them like crazy. Perhaps another piece of evidence that you shouldn't press the leading teams in this division. Otherwise, you pay.
Mate, obviously, didn't watch it because I've seen a couple of Burnley games this year, and that was enough.
Yeah,
I think I've had enough.
Never again.
No, there's other stuff,
and yet here we are.
But looking at the stats, I mean, it doesn't reflect a one-sided game, does it? It was Sheffield Wednesday missed 3 big chances in there.
I mean, Burnley conceding just 9 goals this season is pathetic, quite frankly. It's generally quite annoying. I just think grow up, live a little. It'd be much more fun.
Yeah. And Sunderland 0, Hull City 1 was the Saturday lunchtime kickoff in the UK. I also watched this game.
Jesus
and
Christ.
I watched this more closely. Then took my dog for a nice walk afterwards. But I had a feeling going into this, and it's obviously easy to say this to retrofit it, but I had a feeling that Sunderland might
like you had a feeling Burnley won't be winning 4 or 5-0.
I had a feeling that Sunderland might not react well to having lost to us. And it was one of those games where they were clearly the better side from the off, but Hull got a foothold in the game and just started having a few chances, and the nerves crept into the crowd. You could just feel it. Like you felt like maybe the air had all gone out of the season with them losing at Ellen Road on Monday. And so it proved. They got in front, did Hull, and then I don't know. I felt relatively comfortable. They were never going to get back into it. It descended into a bit of a grind. Like Lefay went off with hamstring issues at half time, which is good. Speedy recovery, Enzo. And then they made another sub. I think it's about 48, 49 minutes, so just 3 minutes into the second half. So there's 2 elements of disruption there to their sort of starting game plan. You could feel it was just getting away from them. And they never looked like the team that came to Ellen Road on Monday. They were a very different beast. And fair play to Hull for the win.
It was very nice to see their little stocky goalkeeper fuck up due to our little stocky striker, old Joey Gallart. Turns out he's really good at corners, apparently. Who knew that?
Did you see the couple of corners that he did? It wasn't just the one that caused the goal.
He hit the bar, didn't he?
He did another one a few minutes afterwards, yeah. And I think Patterson actually saved it onto the bar, but it was dropping under the bar directly from the corner. Yeah, he was whipping him in. Proper missile. Like, do you remember how Rafinha used to hit a football and you go, bloody hell, he's hit that hard and accurately and curved it. He must be quite good. Gallagher was doing similar.
It was Farker, didn't he say that Joffrey could kill a cow or something with his shots, which I do think just keep him away from any farmyards when he's got a football at his feet. But I really want Joffrey to do well. I'm glad he seems to be having a nice time at Hull. And yet again, it is another game where I see a Championship goalkeeper and feel a lot better about Ilan Meslier.
There's a nice bit of justice about it happening to their Sunderland. Their Sunderland? What am I talking?
Their Sunderland keeper.
Their Sunderland goalkeeper.
Yeah.
The Sunderland goalkeeper having a bit of a crumble at this stage because he wasn't great in against us, was he? So have a little laugh about Meslier now, if you want.
He actually descended into body shaming. Did you see that before and after photo that was doing the rounds of him? It was one of those that went viral. I think must have got a bit of traction among the football crowd, and it appeared in our For You feed. But it was of him 18 months ago versus him now, and he's visibly put on quite a lot of weight.
Oh, right.
Good man.
I mean, that never happened to athletes like us, obviously.
No. And Paddy Kenny, they're the great example. Is he still replying to every single tweet about him looking fat at pre-season that time?
Yes, of course.
Can never resist it, can he? Absolutely, always does it.
Leaves Sunderland on 62 points, as you were, with 12 games to play. Burnley obviously winning, puts them on 68, so there's a 6-point gap now between them. 8 points from Sheffield United, a Sunderland. You, I suppose, at this point, with the inferior goal difference, you've almost got to write Sunderland out of it, do you, I suppose, at this stage, now having lost 2 games on the bounce?
Pretty much. Yeah. Good.
You're not 100% confident?
Well, no, I'm not. But
you've been betting on Sunderland finishing the top 2, you were telling me.
Well, yeah, that's just covering it off, making sure that's not going to happen, isn't it? But yeah, they look dead. If it was Leeds in that position, I would, which is the way I don't know if it's a fairer way of judging it or not, but if Leeds had done what Sunderland have done in the past week, I would absolutely be looking at the season and the league table and going, yeah, it's over. That's fine. Because they've got worse goal difference as well, haven't they, than everyone else up there.
Yeah.
So
the only one they're plus 19. The only one they're remotely near to is Sheffield United on plus 24.
And they still need an 8-point swing to get up with them, don't they? So
yeah,
it's asking a hell of a lot at this stage of the season.
In essence, you're asking for a 3-game swing.
If there was still
plus they've got Burnley above them as well.
Yeah, if there was still 25 games to go, you'd think maybe, but it's a lot. It's a lot to do.
Yeah,
my thinking of why Sunderland would not be such a threat is that I said at the start of the season they feel a little bit Leedsy in the way that they have an ability to fall apart at key moments. They've done it. They were like us in that they had to hang around in League One for absolutely ages as well, trying to just failing to get out of that miserable, shitty division, despite being obviously far too big for it. And there they are, collapsing now. So good.
Yeah, I feel like with Sunderland they could be absolutely anything in the playoffs. Like they could stick 4 past Burnley, or they could absolutely bomb out to Blackburn or West Brom.
Yeah, definitely. It depends if because they go to Sheffield Wednesday on Friday this next week. This week. I'm confused by the weeks. That's how weeks work, isn't it? One follows the other.
When do you start yours?
My week?
Yeah.
When I get out of bed normally.
On a Monday, though?
Yeah, as a rule.
It does throw me when calendars sometimes have it as a Sunday start of the week, don't they? Weird.
But yeah, sorry, they go to Sheffield Wednesday on Friday. I could conceivably see them losing that. Truth be told. Again, because Sheffield Wednesday are not terrible, even though they look terrible versus us.
Well, I suppose the fact they failed to take any chances against Burnley sort of confirms what we saw, because they looked bad up front, didn't they?
Where are they in the league now? Are they still?
I think the fringes of the playoffs still.
Oh, really?
I think
Fair
if you're in the top 15, I think you're still kind of fringes of playoffs.
They're currently 12th on 45 points. Blackburn are on 51.
And how far are they off the relegation zone? If this is the Championship, they should also be 6 points off the relegation zone.
Plymouth are on 30 points. Sheffield Wednesday are on 40. So 15 off.
Rubbish.
15 off relegation and 6 off promotion. So they're going to go into that game feeling that we might as well go for it to try and, I suppose set the tone for the full weekend, really. Try and claw something back there. But yeah, we're on obviously 72 points still going into this game. Sheffield United on 70. Burnley have closed that gap to 2 points on Sheffield United, which is why actually, even though it was disappointing to see Burnley win on Friday, if we lose tonight, it's not the absolute end of the world. It won't feel good, but also you see what a win could do.
Yeah.
Or just not losing.
I feel like knowing Burnley and Sheffield United have still got to play each other as well, that is massive now, because it does feel like 2 from 3, and knowing that there are points going to be lost in at least one weekend is reassuring in some way, because pessimism can sometimes get the better of one or two of us, and we can look at upcoming games and go, oh, they've won that, they'll win that easy, and we'll lose probably.
Yeah.
Just because.
How do you feel about it in terms of how pivotal this week and then next week, Rob, is going to be for the whole season? So obviously we've got this game tonight, and then Saturday lunchtime we play West Brom. You've also got Burnley playing in the FA Cup at the weekend, and then they go to Cardiff on Tuesday to make up the missed fixture. So it's quite, we were saying in the shows in the run-up to this, it's quite a tight turnaround, that one, after the FA Cup game.
Yeah, I feel surprisingly relaxed about tonight, which isn't necessarily complete confidence, but I just think we're in a really good position now. Even if the worst was to happen and we were to lose, we are still in a really good position. So I just think I'm quite excited to see us play one of the better teams in the league, because that has tended to bring the best out of this Leeds team, and the games are usually a lot more fun. I have no idea what to expect from Sheffield United off the back of that as well, because they came to Ellen Road and we just changed the whole formation. We're really defensive. But then I'm very glad as well that we've had that week turnaround from last Monday, because if the players are anything like me, they will have needed a few days to sort of ride out the come down of the highs of Monday night. So hopefully they are back on it. But yeah, hopefully not too jittery like I was for a few days.
I'm not nervous about tonight. I think we could see any of the 3 results quite conceivably, because the teams are very close points wise. I think we're a better team than Sheffield United, as we proved earlier on in the season, but I realise they're at home. It's a huge game. Top 2, home crowd, Monday night under the lights, all the same stuff that drove us on last week. It can be a great leveler, and you need to make sure you turn up and do your job. All that. If we do, I think we could win. I could also see them having a good game, but I'm not scared of any of the outcomes. I think that's one of the important things, because I think we got a degree of comfort from the Sunderland game maybe last week.
I feel like the Sunderland game means that a point tonight actually is great. It essentially would mean we've got out of these games unscathed, which is...
Well, we'd come out of it top. A point.
That's the way of looking at it, yeah. But you're thinking, where's damage going to be? Yeah, going to be taken on, if you know what I mean, and where people can catch up with you. It's obviously the head-to-head games, isn't it? So if we get out of tonight with a draw, I don't think we should play for a draw by any stretch. I don't think we will, because I think playing for a draw would be pointless, essentially, when we've got such a good team and we're on this incredibly good run. But if it ends up a draw, it's fine.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
sorry, I was just going to say, so that will be a 5-point gap to Burnley, and then we've got the most difficult game of the season out of the way. And
I was going to say, by a distance, this is the hardest game on paper, isn't it, left? So
they surely can't be as passive as they were at Ellen Road. I just can't see their home crowd and Wilder sort of falling into that. But then at the same time, I think if they are a bit more aggressive and up and at them, that tends to help Leeds quite a lot. Because even though they were so defensive at Ellen Road, it did take us a while to break them down. And it was a set piece. It was Rothwell to Strauch, that magical combination it has since become. But then I was looking at, they've got a few injury doubts, and I was thinking, Cannon and Moore, if they're injured, I'd really like that, because even though I don't think either of them are that great or have been great against Leeds, just shithouse big lump of a strikers are quite annoying. But then I was reading back the match report I wrote after the home game, just to remind myself what actually happened, and it was Roden and Strauch were brilliant against Moore at Ellen Road, and I think it was O'Hare in behind him, and he was just completely anonymous.
Yeah, Hamer didn't do much either. I think he was fairly lively the first 20 minutes or something, then he completely disappeared from the game as well. So yeah, it was weird, like, because they turned up and you were like, oh, there's a few players here I don't much fancy us playing against, and it
barely noticed them.
It was just all fine. It was Sousa in midfield was decent for them, bit of a destroyer.
He's annoying.
Yeah, he's a bit of a pest, but apart from him, he was the only one I really remember is actually stuck in the mind from that game as being decent.
Yeah, so the lineup that day for the home game was Meslier in goal. You got Bogle, Rodon, Strauch, and Firpo. You back four. Tanaka and Rothwell in midfield. It was Nonto and Ramazani on the wings, with Aronson and Pirro as well. James and Solomon both on the bench for that home game, and you will almost certainly see a reverse of that tonight. Presumably, Strauch comes back in then, and Ampadu gets pushed into midfield alongside Tanaka, maybe?
That's what I'm guessing will happen.
Yeah, Gruev wasn't great, was he, the other night?
No.
For some pretty poor corners. I think he was it was maybe better than I gave him credit for. I was a bit off him because I thought Rothwell came on and was brilliant. But I would, Ampadu in midfield, and he's got to be Tanaka next to him, hasn't it?
Yeah. Ampadu is obviously his former team as well, so there's a bit of that in there. But yeah, I think with the likelihood they'll have a big striker, it seems sensible to put Struijk in. Plus, his confidence will surely be high as well. He just gives teams something to think about, because I feel like without, admittedly, we don't want to take the corners now, but sometimes playing against us, it must feel fine to give away corners.
Bring back Joe Gelhardt.
Is that what we're saying?
Just for tonight.
Okay, maybe not.
But yes, it adds another dimension to the attack, you're right.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting, I was looking at some of their forums for their injuries. Someone who reckons he's in the know is claiming Wilder's talking absolute bollocks about their injuries, because Wilder is saying that Hamer and Cannon and Moore are going to be fit, and they're saying they're not.
Right.
Potentially none of them. Okay. Hamer definitely not.
Did you spot there was a bit of a tell, because all the pictures on their social media were of those three, and you wonder if maybe they're a little way off yet, or not quite 100% fit, and there's a bit of kidology going there, which I wonder is what Farke has done with Solomon as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same. I'm intrigued whether Solomon's actually fine.
He loves a little. He's doubtful for the game.
I think Solomon will play, won't he?
I would imagine so.
Presumably, it was that heavy tackle he took against Sunderland that's injured him, because he did get a bit of a booting in that, didn't he?
But he played on for the rest of the game until he got taken off.
And if it's just a bit of a bruise and swelling and what have you, that sort of stuff tends to clear up.
Inject him up, he'll be fine.
Exactly. Get the horse tranquilizers.
Pump him full of hormones or whatever it is they do.
Be coming out looking like Joel Pirro. That's blazed.
Looking forward to it then. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
definitely.
If you're on the YouTube version as well, you will just see Michael's face looking absolutely terrified.
If we can't look forward to this, what can we look forward to?
I think the thing is, right, the only thing you don't want to see out tonight is to lose 4-0 or something like that, where you go, shit, we've got that in us, because it's never felt like we've had that in us all season. If you lose to the odd goal under the lights, passionate circumstances, all that, tight game, derby and all that, then you go, okay, fair enough. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. The season's not over. Everyone will wobble a little bit, I'm sure. Fair enough, but it happens. And again, same with the draw. Absolutely take that all day. And obviously a win speaks for itself. You're happy with that. But just as long as we don't collapse and do something stupid and Leedsy.
Yeah, I think it has got a bit of Wilder shithousery or refereeing controversy written all over it. And I think either we overcome that and it'll feel great, or we fall to it and we're all quite angry at the Championship for a little while. But I'm sort of fine with either.
Yeah, let me keep my let's keep my Sheffield United prediction of I think they'll come out and try and kick the shit out of us, which they didn't at Ellen Road. They were quite passive. I thought they were going to come and be physical with us based on what he did to Bielsa's team that first season. So let's keep that one going. Let's say he's got them desperately fired up for it. They get a red card inside the first 20 minutes. We control possession and control the game, and it's just a matter of time before we score. I'd accept that.
Yes, that would be fine.
Without injuries, obviously.
Well, we've not got the possibility of Wilder and Farke having a little to do on the touchline either, have we? Which is a bit of a shame, because I feel like he's got one in him as Wilder. Although it feels like, I don't know if Sheffield United fans feel like this, but it doesn't feel quite like it did with Wilder the first time.
Have you actually grown to quite like him a little bit?
Well,
and is it because
he keeps talking us up though, doesn't he?
He does,
which
yeah.
I don't like.
Which is a bit weird. But I don't know, I felt like the first time there was a bit of real animosity there, and I just don't get that anymore.
I wonder if he's just winding his neck in now. He's had a really embarrassing relegation and a few other jobs that haven't worked out, whereas previously he was just on a big upward trajectory, wasn't he?
And I think Bryn Law coming in here and saying actually he's a really nice bloke has coloured my vision of him.
I did massively enjoy him standing on a bench in a pub singing sausage roll after the beat Sheffield Wednesday. I actually thought that was brilliant. I've got to say, as much as I probably wouldn't want a Leeds manager doing it, as something to see, I went, that's good. That
it's a nice spectacle, isn't it? Nice spectacle. Right, okay. Well, let's see what happens, eh?
Yeah.
Is that as much as we're prepared to commit to? Let's see what happens.
It's weird. The whole battle of us and Sheffield United last time, which obviously they came out on top of, it felt more intense than it has this year by an awfully long way. I don't know if you feel the same.
But then there was another team up there, wasn't there, in
Norwich?
Well, it was Norwich, yeah. Farke's Norwich. Yeah, of course.
But I was almost like, I didn't really care about Norwich in that season to the same extent. It felt like us and Sheffield United was the battle of that season. And maybe because it was Bielsa and it was Wilder and it was the first time around for both of us. And now it feels like we've both had a bit of time in the Premier League. We've both come down.
You can't help.
It feels like there's less at stake somehow.
Maybe tonight's the night that him and Jadon Bogle just throttle each other, though. So.
And you can't help but also see the prize at the end of this being the Premier League and the potential struggle that awaits. And you imagine what life would be like with them coming up with you. And the same with Burnley. And will we make a decent fist of it this time? I suppose you can't help but project onto the next step.
I don't know.
I kind of hope Sheffield United go up and then keep this squad because it's really not good enough.
He's in the state of scum. We'll be fine.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, 6 easy points there anyway, next season. If we get there, let's do the job at hand tonight, shall we then? Right, we'll wrap it up there. Strap in, boys. Strap in. We'll see you soon.
The Square Ball Podcast.